What's up, guys? This is Nick here from Everything Tech, and welcome to this episode of the top 5 Windows 10 mobile tips and tricks for your Windows 10 device. I got 5 things I want to show you on Windows 10, and we're going to do that right here, right now. So let's kick this off by starting with battery saver mode. Now, we know I'm pretty sure we're aware of the battery saver mode right here, which comes on Windows 10, but what I want to talk more about is the specific option. So if we go into System and we scroll down till we see Battery Saver, well, you don't have to scroll down here. But what I want to do is go into Battery Saver options, and I want to show you that these apps right here, it says these apps can run in the background and send and receive push notifications. And why I included this in the list is because when we turn on Battery Saver, we tend to not have all of the notifications we want. So right here, what Windows 10 allows you to do is pick your specific apps that you do want to sync to you through Battery Saver, because a lot of the times we're running out of battery, but then again, we don't get all the stuff that we want to come in. So as you can see, you got Microsoft Phone, People, all these things it disables while Battery Saver's mode is on. So basically you're not receiving anything, and this could be important. So that's why it's tip number 1. So remember, we just go into settings, and we're going to go into System, Battery Saver, and we're going to go down to Battery Saver Settings and go down to Add an App. And once we get to Add an App, that's where you can add your personalized app. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is display options. And you might say, well, Nick, I already know about the display. It says it right there, display, System and display. So display options, and why I included this is because it's a little bit tricky. There's 2 display options in Windows 10. Also, this was in Windows 8.1, but it was a little bit easier to find. So in here we have the high bright. We know the typical, change the brightness levels here, but there's also another one, and you can find this by going into here and just tapping display. And as you can see, when I type display, there's 2 display options here. Now, this one is the one I just showed you, but this first option right here is going to actually got that wrong. The first one is the one I just showed you, and the second one is the second one. It's included within extras. So in this display mode, this is where we can go ahead and see sunlight readability. And what basically that does is when you're outdoors, it increases the maximum nits brightness that the display will shoot out to you. This way you can read your Lumia very easily in direct sunlight. Also, we have battery saver brightness, which will dim the screen even lower than it'll dim it lower than dim, while you have battery saver enabled. Also, under brightness profile, we can manually adjust what low goes to, like this. So if you really want to eke out a lot of battery life, you can set your medium even lower and have it on medium. So you can manually go through this. And us veteran Windows Phone users probably already know about this option, but this is for all of you who didn't know that there was a second display option within your Windows Phone, making your display experience much better. And the color profile is basically going to allow you to switch it between a vivid mode, a cool mode, a standard mode, and advanced mode. Advanced is more like for people who are more into, editing photos, and they can really get the exact temperature they want, or if you just want to mess around with it, but it's more for those photo editing kind of people. But vivid here is going to make it more saturated. Cool is going to be a very cool bluish temperature, and standard is more of a warm, I would say similar to what the iPhone gives it out the box. So there we go. That's tip number 2, the second display option. Tip number 3 is going to be one-handed mode, and you may know this once again if you read into Windows 10 features, but basically all you're going to want to do is hold the Windows key down here, and when you hold the Windows key, let's hold it, you're going to see it's going to drop down. Now, I think Microsoft, this is a technical preview, I think Microsoft needs to do a little bit more work on this one-handed mode, because when you scroll like this, you don't really get to the edge of the screen. As you can see, if I hold it back up, settings, there's so much more apps down here, and when I hold it, it doesn't go all the way down. So it is a little bit of a broken feature, but I could still see where it could be useful because Lumia devices are a lot of times wide. So even though they're not very huge devices, except for the XL models in the 1520, they're usually a little bit wide. So wrapping our hands around them is not the most from here to here to here to here Apple-like experience. So anyways, sorry to bash Apple. I just like to bash their marketing. I love Apple products. I like all technology. We don't discriminate against any technology here, but we had to get them on that one. So And that feature where you can drop it down below is going to be useful, I would say right now, because it's not super optimized. Probably just scrolling in apps and, finding an app you want one-handed. Messaging will work well. Like if you're taking a note in OneNote, for example, if we hop over into OneNote and let's start up a new note. If you drop it down, you just need to tap something, come back up, and then the keyboard is right there for you. So I can see where it's going to be a little bit useful. Maybe if you're, out and about and you're listening to some music, you want to drop it down just to change the track. But like I said, they need to update it to get it where you can scroll through the whole entire operating system. If you're going to release a feature, might as well release it full functionally. But this is, once again, the technical preview. So hopefully they get that squashed by the time they release it for all. So visual scaling option is number 4. So we know that if we go into system display, as I was in display earlier, if you go here, you can change the size and text of the apps, basically adjusting the DPI. If you do this right here, this is going to adjust the DPI, basically how big everything looks. But there's also another option if you go into settings and you go down into ease of access, more options, visual scaling, which is going to jack up the text size right here, basically matching to whatever you changed the original DPI settings to, which I just told you about. This is going to basically make text very small or very large. And I think that is kind of hidden in there because who's really going to go down to ease of access, more options, and notice that's there unless we're really fooling around with our phone. So that's why I included it in there as a tip on this Windows 10 to make your experience a little bit better. And as you can see, when I do that, it changes basically system-wide, except for the tiles, the text size and apps in the previous option will change the size of the tiles. So you can see, if I go into settings, now you'll see how big everything is here, nice and easy to read. So we'll leave it at that for now. The final one, and this one is probably one of the coolest tips in Windows 10, is if you go into settings and you go into, let's see, is it personalization, accounts, and you go into apps corner. Basically in apps corner, what this is going to do is it's going to say somebody gives you, ask you, can I borrow your phone? So you can basically say, hold on a second, go in there and add the apps that you only want them to use. So let's take off Amazon Kindle and Autodesk I have right here. Let's say you just want them to use the phone. So we're going to click phone right here, and you can personalize these apps to however you like them. And you just hit the check mark. And then right here, you're going to hit the arrow sign pointing towards this way, which is essentially saying go or let's do it. And then we're going to go ahead and do this. And now what you're going to see, give it a second to boot, loading up. Let's go back. And now what you're going to see is just the phone here. So that's all we're going to have. Whatever icons that you made available, that's what they'll be able to use. And they can't go into your notifications. You can see here, they just can't go back and get into your device and things like that. They can't search Cortana. All they can use is the phone. So it could be frustrating if they were trying to look into your stuff. Let's repower the device back on. I think it froze a little bit there, but yeah, if they're trying to get into your stuff, they're not going to be able to. So I find Apps Corner to be a great tip as well. Now, how do we disable this app if we want to get out of here? Because you might think Android, like Android's pin feature, you can do this and get out, or you can hit the Windows button and get out. But no, that's just going to drop you back down to that one-handed mode. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to hold down the power button, and then it's going to say right there, swipe to exit Apps Corner. And who's going to take your phone and press the power button? I don't think anybody's going to do that. They're going to be like, what is this? This is all I have? So yeah, this can keep people, keep your phone more private if they're trying to borrow your phone. So let's swipe to the right, and you're going to see now it's going to go back here, ask for the original PIN from your Microsoft account. And then you can just sign back into your account, and you're back into your phone the way it was. And basically, those are my 5 tips for Windows 10 Mobile right now. They're more features per se, but you know, it's still a tip because if you didn't know how to do it, I just gave you a tip. So if you found this video useful, go ahead, hit that thumbs up down below. Subscribe for more technology videos if you haven't already. We're going to keep them coming, you know. We'd love to talk about technology over here, and you're welcome to join if you like. And I'll catch you all in the next episode. Oh yeah, and if you have any other Windows 10 Mobile tips or anything you want to say down below in the comments, please go ahead and leave that down there, as it can help us all out into making our Windows 10 experience that much better. And anyway, guys, I'll catch you all in the next episode. Peace.